know where they're putting human body parts into the pig supply and the pork supply. The Reynolds family used to own 60% of all the crematoriums and moratoriums in the United States and funeral homes. And they would dispose of bodies that way too. Pig farms. Because a pig will a couple of pigs will dispose of a body in a few minutes. And then they feed that to the populace. Don't eat pig.
That you need to raise yourself.
Could not strongly warn people against that enough. Parasites of hookworms are serious things. That's why a lot of Southerners are what Southerners are. Understand something. Southerners, and a lot of their speech and their cadence and their rhythm, it's hookworms. 9 out of 10 times.
Really?
1 for 1, they are ruled by parasites. Detox them, their brains turn on, and they're sharp and capable communicators almost immediately. Tapeworms and hookworms come pouring out of them. But they were mostly fed pork diets. Whereas out west, you see a lot less of it. And in the north, because beef tended to be the predominant thing. Sheep before that, but beef tended to feed them a lot more often. And they're far less prone to feeding you the parasites. So something to consider. Change your life forever. Do a detox, man.
Well, I got like a whole freezer full of pork right now. Even the ones that I raised.
Bro, he gave us some instructions in the scriptures to try to keep us away from stuff that's definitely deadly. Pig is 100% an animal we know gets possessed by demons. Absolutely. The legions that come out of the two men, the demoniacs in the tombs, where do they go?
Pigs.
Straight into the pigs. And the pigs are fully possessed, total possession. Think about this. The power, the spiritual possession capacity of 1 man, 2 man, depending on which account you're in, filled a herd of pigs and it drowned them in the sea. That's because those spirits, when they lose their assignment on their target, they better bring a sacrifice back with them so they don't get their stinking lunch eaten by the higher principality that's ruling them. This is why swine and pork is so heavily warned about in the scriptures. Like, don't eat it. Don't eat it. When you abstain from these things, like my family and I just started trying to eat the way that the scripture said, like literally. And it was unbelievable how many of the lights turned on in our brains, you know, and like why it was valuable for us to try to find clean sourced food.
Y'all are not ready for this one. The old world got smoked. This used to be a city. These structures melted buildings. There was a cataclysm, melted the whole thing down. These are petrified buildings. There was once a worldwide empire that was completely wiped out, and you can still find it if you got the eyes to see. That is a whole bridge. Does that look like a natural formation to you? Is that natural? What about here? Are we believing this is natural? You got an entryway, you got a small door, you got some rebar sticking out. I mean, that is a whole dome up top. I think it's pretty clear what this looks like. And now over here, giant castle. Look at the melted doorways. Look at the vertical saturated lines. The top of this building, you can see a spire. Now right here, come on, this one's obvious. Perfectly right angles, archways, openings, anything but natural. A lot of these places have pockets of survival, and you can see the remains, and once you see it everywhere. Especially in the places that they claim were carved out of stone, like Petra or Cappadocia. Personally, I think Cappadocia could have been the real Tower of Babel. They found that this place actually goes so far as 18 stories deep, and 80% of it is still unexplored. I'm pretty sure the whole thing was above ground at one point. An advanced civilization trying to usurp God, and then we got all these different languages. Now, the structures at sites like these, they get marshmallowed, crisped, smoked on the outside, and yet inside they're completely preserved. In Psalms it says, the hills melted like wax at the presence of Yahweh. And that's exactly what it looks like. You think they made these fancy brick arches inside, and then made the outside look like crap? And then you look at places like this, I see skyscrapers. Look here in Italy, Russia, Turkey, all the same thing. We see the same style of stacking everywhere. What we have is a real Sodom and Gomorrah fire from the sky event. And these places melted like wax, and then likely washed away after. Now let's take a look at the Grand Canyon. Sphinx in Egypt, Sphinx at the Grand Canyon. This is a whole face on a structure. Yeah, and they even tell you all these sites are called pyramids and temples named after their false gods. Now why would they do that? Because they know, and that's why so many of these areas are restricted. Go see my video on the Grand Canyon. This could have been the original Egypt. They lie about everything. Now what about over here in Pakistan? It's no doubt once you see it, you can't unsee it. Something crazy happened in our past. Earthquakes, fire from the sky, floods, cataclysms. There has been so much erased from our history, but it's all hidden in plain sight. The book of Enoch tells us exactly what happened to the giant trees that were cut down. It mentions how the angels of God labored or cut down the trees in order to prevent the Nephilim giants from climbing up to survive the flood. We've been born with sight, but our eyes have become blind. They told you this is just pareidolia, that your mind is playing tricks on you. Well, your eyes have become traitors over time. So you do enough research and you come to realize that the majority of science is in fact pseudoscience to fit a narrative. We should know by now that many plateaus and mountains aren't rock formations, but the stumps of these giant trees that were cut down. And if you look closely at a lot of them, you'll see tree rings. Put the tree ring under a microscope and you will see geometric patterns of a hexagon. Take plant stems and you'll also see that each individual fiber is hexagonal in shape. This is what allows the trees to grow upwards into big beautiful trees that reach the sky. Now what's funny is scientists, or the dark Kabbalah priests, tell us that this was made from lava. Since when does lava or magma cool down and make geometric shapes? Let's take a look at Devil's Tower. Again, they tell us that this was formed by igneous lava. Here we see climbers on individual hexagonal towers. The stems of Devil's Tower bend into the base of the ground just like a tree. We see examples of these cut down trees all throughout the world, and Enoch says that there were 200 of them. Now there's always connections within the Bible that point to the book of Enoch so we can get more details. Just like in Genesis it tells us that there were giants in the earth in those days, there's other verses that tell us all about these trees. Daniel chapter 4 verse 10, pay attention. I saw a large tree in the middle of the earth. The tree grew very tall and strong, reaching high into the heavens for all the world to see. I saw a messenger, a holy one, coming down from heaven, and he shouted, "Cut down the tree and lop off its branches, but leave the stump and the roots in the ground, so that everyone may know that the Most High rules over the kingdoms of the world." So even the Bible tells us not only who cut these tree stumps down, but why they were left there, to show the power and destruction of God and his angels. Now mud fossils. Are these really petrified giants? Well, in Enoch 16:1 it says, "As to the death of the giants, wherever their spirits depart from their bodies, let their flesh, which is perishable, be without judgment." So judgment of the flesh is to rot and go away, to decompose. But without judgment is to not decompose. So we have to think about, how could these giants be petrified? Well, what plays a major role in petrification? Water. And what happened after the trees were cut down? The Great Flood. A legend across every culture in the world. There's a reason that Enoch, along with many other books, have been removed from the modern Bible. These books painted a far too accurate description of not only our realm and where we live, but the history behind it. You can keep believing that this is all just coincidence, keep believing that you're on a spinning water marble heading nowhere, and evolution is real, that you're a cosmic accident, or you can do a little bit of research, find the truth, and find out that there is a creator who made this amazing realm, and that you were created for a purpose.